Welcome back, everybody, to the Raleigh Major 2019. We already have one team that has punched their ticket to the grand final, and that is going to be Team Empire, and they are going to await the winner of our upcoming matchup. And we have two teams that have so much on the line here. For one, it's a Cinderella story unlike any other that we've seen here. This, ladies and gentlemen, is forZe.
We didn't think that we can get that insane run to play in the semifinals from a team that was tier 3, didn't play anywhere, just qualified to Shell, and now we are here in semifinals waiting for G2. When you wake up at 8 a.m., you are very sleepy, you want to sleep, and when you are going on a stage, you get a lot of energy from people, and you are ready to kill everyone. If we win G2, we will easily get the first place.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, forZe! And their opponents, they are dominance personified in Siege. And I don't think that there's anything more that can be said about G2 Esports.
Out of the 4 teams that are in the semifinals, the hardest team to beat is us. We don't have any special plans for the semifinal or the grand final. I think that we're going to face 2 Russian teams. That's my prediction of the other semifinal, and well, we're going to kill the Russians in our game. So, I don't know, I don't think anyone can take us on a best of 5, so I wish Empire good luck in the final.
Put your hands together for G2 Esports! An opportunity at greatness lies in front of both of these teams. Who is going to cement their name in history? Is it going to be forZe, perhaps? What do you say, crowd? We got a lot of forZe fans here. What about G2 Esports? Oh boy, this is going to be a good one. I can't wait. It's now time to start our second semifinal of the day. Let's send it over to the studio to break it all down.
Thank you so much, Golden Boys. So we are back on the desk. Lasami Finj, your host here on the analyst desk, and I have 2 beautiful gentlemen. It's Veli and Rams. Rams, how are you doing here?
It's good to be back, and we have such an exciting matchup today, G2 versus forZe, but there's one thing that we have to clear up. Veli.
What's good?
I got a bone to pick with you.
No, don't say nothing wild, man. I'll bother you again.
I need an apology for what you did to me during the show match.
Whoa.
No, let me say it.
What
Let me say it.
What does he do to
You
him?
didn't see the 180 with the clash?
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that, Mr. Gold right here had to dominate you in front of tens of thousands of people.
Chocolate Thunder over here.
Chocolate
Bring it.
Thunder had to put in that work, man. So you know what? Maybe next time, Rams.
I'm never carrying you in ranked ever.
I mean, at the end of the day, Milo, she's an Xbox player. What do we expect?
Never carrying you in ranked ever again.
Right. Well, he's the one that was
from
the
the
next
squad.
pro, so.
Come from
Yeah,
the squad.
true.
We were meeting you almost 2 years ago in Sao Paulo. That was a while ago, right?
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Time has changed, doesn't it?
Bloodbath was still around.
R.I.P.
Yeah, that was true.
Yeah.
Was. Veli,
Yes, what's up?
how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. This is another great matchup. One more to go before the finals, and we get to see everyone's favorite team, G2 and Pengu.
Fair enough. Pengu, their IGL, as I've heard.
Yes. No, this is actually going to be a barn burner because now you're looking at the giants of Rainbow Six Siege. If you're a new viewer to the game, this is it. This is a team you want to watch. They're the Patriots of this entire game. But forZe, on the other hand, they're the underdogs, man. No one really knew about them if you're living outside of Europe or if you're a new viewer to the game. Now that we see them going against, the colossal giants of the scene, this is it. We're going to see what they're made of.
See, I live outside the U.S. and have no clue what the Patriots are, so thank you very much for that. I have to educate myself at the end of this. Rams, you're looking at it. G2, they bring everything in terms of pedigree. Let's talk about the big boys first before diving into forZe, their history, and what they need to do. Please, elaborate on G2.
First of all, G2 just looks so strong. Uno coming into the team and just absolutely bringing it all together. On top of that, we've seen G2's forethought going into their matches, how cool, calm, and collected they are at all times. Their positioning around the map always seems to be not necessarily in close proximity to each other, but always in the right place at the right time to get refrags, to cover each other. And then, just having the ability to strike in the blink of an eye with such confidence and precision is actually something to be marveled. And to touch on a little bit what you said, Veli, they're definitely the team to watch if you want to learn how to be the best.
And this is it. This is Goga, Fabian, Pengu, Cantorocchetti, and Uno. Everybody has been stepping up as the team. Fabian is actually the worst player on the team when it comes to pure stats at the end of it.
Surprising.
Yes, very surprising. But you're winning through everybody. You're kind of bodying everyone. Your last doesn't really matter, does it? Alex was talking about it right before. As long as you get that W, that's all that matters.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but I mean, honestly to say, I'm going to have to kind of give a little counter argument. This is a team that's actually been struggling. So ever since they replaced Jonas with Uno's a dominant player, but the results didn't look that way at first. The man wasn't the reason why G2 was struggling, though. You bring in a player like him, there's a lot of changes that are going to happen, and Jonas was such a vital part of G2's championships, how they were able to win time and time again. So ever since that happened, Pro League Season 10, the struggle has been happening, and to me, honestly, I really haven't seen G2 beat, a dominant team yet. This is a chance.
We'll see what happens in the semis, but Cantorocchetti, our highlight player here from the team, we've been highlighting him ever since the day he joined the squad back in Atlantic City a year and a half ago, and here he is, opening kills, a +6 for him.
Yep.
This is your spearhead for every assault. He runs it well, but Rams, what's the support system for Cantorocchetti in G2 to make sure he shines?
Well, pretty much a lot of players respect Kanto not only as a player, but when he's in the match and they see him coming at him, they can kind of, detect what's happening. They know that he's the main pusher. So what happens is he forces the roamers to move. Fabian moves into position along with the droning coming from Uno and Pengu to help. And Fabian, pretty much what we saw in Villa was he was just locking them down and catching them on their rotates at the perfect moment every time. And that's just, how well their team synergizes together to make sure they're always in the right position.
Well, that's G2, and now their opponents forZe, Shockwave, WTG, Pasha, Kama, and Rask. These 5 here just qualified for Challenger League. I will keep repeating that even if they make it to the grand final. They just qualified to Challenger League under 3 weeks ago. They were not even in it. They only played in the Russian Major League. Team Empire are the winners in that tournament. They are the best team. This is number 2 from Russia. And here they are bodying everybody to make it to the semifinal. Vodafone Giants looked like amateurs against these, and I think one player to highlight is Rask.
It's definitely Rask. When he went against that roster, they were beating them so bad. Rask had the play of the day where he was able to run in an armory, bop an Echo in the head, and get a 3K to help his team secure the round. Rask has been dominant. The guy is disgusting, and he's why I'm scared of Russians. But take a look at the KD. 70 and 49, positive 21. He has been one of the biggest standout players so far this event, but it's not just him. You gotta take a look at Shockwave as well. They're pretty much like a two-headed beast, pretty much. It's a 1-2 punch. I love the way this roster is built.
Yeah, basically, forZe have made it this far, right? But they have to treat every match from this point on, this one and potentially the final if they make it, as if it is the final. They need to play every match with the mentality that we could go home at any moment, and we need to prove that we are better. When it really comes down to it is, can they keep it up? Can they keep this streak going? And how will their nerves hold up, not only playing on the main stage again, but under the pressure of playing against G2? Because we saw what happened when G2 played against TSM, and TSM sort of just didn't, have the fortitude to continue.
Okay, let's compare two players here in these two teams, and I think there's a specific role that we need to highlight, the more support player, right? And while we see Kama and Goga right now with 7 plants and disables, well, 7 in total, it's 6 for Kama. Goga is the highest rated player on his team. He literally is the best on G2, and he's the support. Watch out, everybody.
Kama's amazing, and shout out to Stokes, the caster. He said Young is the best support player in the game. Nah, it's gonna be that man Goga, and the fact that his stats are so beautiful in his position. Goga's not supposed to be a standout player like that, and the fact that he is, that's what makes G2 so scary. It's not the players in front. It's the anchors, man. It's the people in the back. It's the back line holding it down.
Exactly. That's why there's a reason why we don't say the best Thermite or the best support, we say the best Goga in the world, because he literally identifies as that. He is a Thermite in real life.
Yes, the way that G2 practice and the way that they play, they lift each other up. No one is really, quote unquote, carrying the team. They all play their roles so well that they just end up getting the frags all around. It doesn't even matter. And then, as long as Goga can plant, and he's gotten flack in the past, we've heard that people thought that he wasn't performing well and all this stuff. And like Fabian so astutely pointed out when he explained it, he's playing the operators that no one wants to play. He's playing the positions that are the most difficult to, actually get him out of, and but he does it very well regardless of his overall stats. He's as we can see, once G2 have perfected their formula, he stands out just as much as everyone else does at the same time.
Well, here's our map ban. So Border Bank will be removed. Coastline picked by G2 to nobody's surprise. Really one of their best maps, and they're one of the best teams, if not the best on this. Clubhouse picked up by forZe, which is pretty darn decent for G2. I don't think there's a single map that doesn't fit well with G2's playstyle. Consulate removed and left with only 2. Kafe Dostoyevsky as a decider, as an all-EU matchup. I don't think it gets better than these 3 maps. These 3 identify European play.
Absolutely. The thing that screams out to me is I don't think that we could have them play on 3 better maps more suited to see how well these 2 teams stack up against each other. Coastline, obviously G2's pick. They're the most successful team to have ever played on that map as consistently as they do. Clubhouse for forZe, makes sense. They sort of have that Empire-esque, aura to them, and then moving all the way down to
Kafe.
all the way down to Kafe. They both have played that map spectacularly throughout the entire tournament.
Final thoughts, gentlemen.
You know what? This isn't a map I want to give predictions on, because I just want to see how good forZe really is at the end of the day, and I'm going to keep it like that.
If Veli's confused and doesn't want to give it, there's...
I respect forZe enough to not go against them, but also G2 is G2.
A lot falls on some of the players of forZe to really continue their streaks, and then we've seen players like Pasha kind of go to sleep after the group stage, and I feel like if all of forZe can wake up at the same time, they will be an absolute force to be reckoned with. But on top of that, they are playing against G2, and G2 just have this sort of aura to them that's, almost unstoppable at times.
They're the best.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for that info. Raleigh, are you awake? It's G2 versus forZe. Let's bring it out. Casters, enjoy.
Thank you very much, Gassan. Thank you, everybody on the desk. Welcome in. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our last semifinal. We have this game in a best of 3. We have a best of 5 to determine a new, possibly, maybe returning and reigning major champion. But here in 2019 in the Summer Major, 2 Russian teams and G2. We have 3 maps here. We're starting off on Coastline.
Yeah, not a best of 5 yet.
Not a best of 5, yes. We're starting off on Coast, and I really like this for G2 as a starting point. Clubhouse and Kafe, though, 2 scary maps that forZe enjoy.
Yeah.
We could see G2 wipe on Coast, and it could be an entire different story in the last.
We saw the way Club went for Empire yesterday, though. There's no guarantees here, and a lot of counter-stratting comes out from people like Shaz and Sua. So, You just never know, and that's what I love about the matchups today with these teams especially. I really respect the way the Russian teams play. They really bring something that was maybe missing a little bit from the scene. A mix of predictability, unpredictability, some dominance in their play, and I think it's really shaking things up a little bit, but they're going to try and shake things up here with the first Hibana ban. And we've seen that a fair amount this tournament, despite the fact that it's not the most crucial operator. It does make Hookah a little more defendable. Capitao as well. Not as much a surprise as that's been pretty big ban most of this week.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams are identifying that the changes to Capitao a little while ago, pretty strong. So you're trying to avoid that menace. Valkyrie as well for Intel. We've seen a lot of ambitious play coming out of forZe, and limiting their access to advanced intelligence would probably be a smart call. So.
Yeah, and that happens a lot here on Coastline especially. Yeah. And then Mirror, of course, means we're unlikely to see any Penthouse play, as has been pretty much the standard this whole week.
So that leaves up the availability for Echo and Maestro, two incredibly strong defenders. So each team will have their choice as to which one they want to prioritize. And
they're going to be pretty impactful most rounds, I think.
forZe will be starting on the defense. It'll be G2 to start on the attack. And for G2, I think it should be noted here that, they've never lost a major while we've had majors called majors. So the first 6 Invitational, I guess, retroactively got called a major. But for the most part, for the 3 majors that were actually called majors.
Well, it certainly wasn't a minor, so.
Exactly.
I guess there's that. Fabian teasing out the line we highlighted a little bit at the end of yesterday, but he's not going to stick it yet. I have a feeling it may return, though. But Pasha also sneaking to the mute from the Echo. So we're actually not going to get the Echo Maestro combo I was hoping to see right off the bat. But mute, very effective, of course, in being able to deny a little bit, but also the fact that he can deny walls from being opened in any fashion, for the most part, other than Maverick. But with the Hibana ban anyways, that's not totally necessary. I gotta imagine it's gonna battle between Fabian's shock drones and those mute jammers quite a bit.
Honestly, this is a bit of a different look from G2 in terms of attacking operators. We have the IQ for Goga. Obviously, they've lost the Hibana in the ban phase.
Yeah, he's played a fair bit of IQ in the past, but maybe not as much recently.
They lost the Hibana in the ban phase, so there's no real purpose in bringing a Thermite. We have seen a Thermite on Coast earlier on in the group stage.
Like I said before, you're certainly not going to rappel down to the back of that mini bar and hit that wall.
Yeah. But then we join in with a Twitch, Pengu on Buck, Uno on Jackal, and Kanto on Zofia. So we normalize the further we go left from right, but Goga and Fabian right now on operators that you wouldn't always see them on, especially as well Pengu playing a Buck. That's a different one.
We've seen him do a bit when it's a kitchen attack, but maybe he's anticipating kitchen as the first. And you know, it hasn't always worked for him all that well, but hopefully he's been practicing not getting C4'd and things like that from below. But there's not a ton of C4 on the board here for defense, other than, of course, thank you for highlighting that, the Nitro Cell on Pasha. So he's going to be the real one to watch out for if you were to play that way, but it should be more top-down than bottom-up. Or, I'm sorry, for the attack bottom-up, but you get what I mean.
Sure thing.
Thank you.
An east to west push coming out here for G2 as they're clearing over from Penthouse and Theater across the halls and all the way down through VIP. The wall is, of course, reinforced, and there's no Hibana, there's no hard breacher, so that's going to make visibility in towards the back of the billiards bar kind of difficult. You also got an Evil Eye staring down the barrel of everyone trying to turn the corner of 90 and pay their attention towards any possible rotating defenders. Kanto's going to be the first one to try and address this Evil Eye looking down, but you've also got, I think this is WTG on the smoke trying to peek, and yeah, he's going to get stunned and pushed away. The impact comes out from Kanto. So there goes one Evil Eye. You still got one left, most likely behind the pool table, and it is behind the pool table, looking in for the default plant spot. And, you know, midway through the round, we're getting there. Uno is going to start things off onto WTG. So there goes your smoke extremely early on. G2 in a power position early.
That's a great play, especially with only the one C4 available, but it's traded back, and then Pengu taking one. Pasha with 2, though. We were talking about him coming awake. He is definitely awake now, but now he's dead.
All of G2 storming the gates, and it's suddenly just Kama left alive on a flank coming through luggage and now into Aquarium. Very late pings from that old Evil Eye, still behind the pool table, being shot from outside the buildings. The plant is going down by Kanto. He's on about 5 HP himself, so Goga dropped the diffuser. Kanto comes in to put it down, and it all works out just the same, and Goga gets the kill. G2 will take a very dominant victory on round number 1. Quite the surprising turn of events there is usually it's forZe that are known for going those aggressive plays, but G2 get that opening pick on a WTG, and it was lights out from there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the one thing that will slow you down the most is that smoke and then their lack of C4. There was really nothing to stop a heavy aggressive push at that point, especially with Evil Eyes taking out things like that. Just their lack of ability to counterpunch. Perfectly read by G2. They looked for that opening. They made that opening with kill on WTG and absolutely pushed off of it. We didn't really see what Jackal was tracking either from Uno, but I got to imagine that was also putting their positioning at risk, making it a little bit harder for them to get the way they wanted to. Some great kills, some great plays there on the rappel as well in these highlights.
Really felt like in that round that it was forZe that were overextending themselves, and G2 were taking advantage and just playing off of that. It wasn't necessarily that it was G2's game plan out the rip to absolutely storm into the objective, but you take what's given to you. In that round, it was forZe peaking and G2 slamming and taking map control in pace.
Now, obviously, they may not be able to get away with that every round because we saw, for example, a team like Secret, we've seen them kind of play with different levels of aggression throughout the tournament to see what works and what doesn't. I can imagine that's been a huge boon to other teams looking to see what works and what doesn't so that they can kind of utilize that. And forZe have been known to do a little bit of back and forth. They sometimes will hold back a bit and try and wait for their moments as well. So we could see some aggression from them this round if they catch G2 in equally compromised positions. But as was mentioned on the desk, they are very good at trading out those kills. We saw that last round as well.
So after one round that was very depressing for forZe and very exciting and exhilarating for G2, that's going to force forZe off of their primary bomb site. They like to go hookah first round. That blows up in their faces, so now they rotate downstairs to Blue Bar and Sunrise. A bomb site that has had some weird rounds so far throughout the major.
Yeah.
I don't expect this game to be any less. Kama, though, bringing up the castle, that's one operator that we typically see on a Sunrise and Blue Bar defense that's just been avoided for the majority of this event.
Yeah, definitely not been the most common pick. Something you want to utilize, especially upstairs, to be able to help with the defense. But Kama actually going to be the one playing the desk. Usually you have someone with more of an ACOG or a high fire rate gun that's going to be playing that, but we'll see how that works out for him. Uno, in the meantime, is getting some tracking going on. He's going to catch one downstairs. There could be some downward pressure from Pangu's Buck play. That's, of course, going to be very useful once they get control of Hookah, and Pangu is already in doing that. Kanto, in the meantime, on the hunt with Fabian. So they're looking for some roam kills here if they can get them. Because, of course, they're going to want to try and put pressure on the Pangu if they can.
Quite surprising as Kama takes fire up towards Fabian at the top of the theater stairs, and Fabian has no interest in entertaining, just holding the flank for now. And speaking of holding the flank, that's all G2 really have to do. They were afforded top floor control immediately by forZe.
No.
And with that top floor control, here comes Pangu raining hellfire down from above. Fabian will tack on, taking down Kama on the attempted flank. What is this map control from forZe? They look lost and trapped inside of a fishbowl right now inside the objective.
It's just the pressure coming down from G2 absolutely working. Smokes are coming out to try and deny. Kanto says, no, no, no. This is our round again, boys. Plant starting to go down, and the kills come out.
Might just be a flawless round for G2 Esports, the reigning two-time world champions, up 2-0. And boy, does it not even look close right now for forZe. forZe have looked so incredible on this run through the major. The biggest shock value factor, I think, you could put up there in terms of name value for this event.
Yeah.
The teams they've taken down to make it out of their group, which looked incredibly stacked, and a lot of those teams in Group D fell short, but nonetheless, it was forZe rising to the top based off of some incredible play. This seems timid. This seems not like the forZe that we've been seeing for the last week.
We've seen a lot of that where teams come up against the really big heavy hitters and just start to get scared, and that really just makes a huge difference. But also, I think it's just, this is a bit of hazing at this point. These are the veterans going way back, and they're definitely showing like, no. We may not be making every LAN finals, but majors are ours. You guys are new. You made it this far. I hope you enjoyed the ride, because G2 is just taking this spot.
G2 are the gatekeepers of making it to the finals. As, like I said, they've won every major. They've obviously had to go through the semifinals at that point. And there have been a lot of teams to come up against G2 in the semis, and not a lot of those games have looked close either in their major runs. So here at the Raleigh Major, we're looking to see if someone can finally dethrone G2. And Empire took their best shot in Montreal at the 6th Invitational. They'll have another opportunity should G2 prevail victorious. The other thing as well is, like I said, Coastline is a very strong map for G2. The next two maps, very balanced between the both of them, and I would honestly say Clubhouse is probably leaning forZe's way. So this still could go 3 maps, and it's only been 2 rounds. But
absolutely. I mean, we didn't expect the last match to go 3 maps either. That definitely was a really good comeback on each other's maps. So It is interesting to see, though, that now that they've realized the timidity of forZe, they're bringing out the Lion finally as that 6th pick to say, we're just going to lock you down in those spots we've already been just clustering you into. You're not going anywhere at this point. I mean, we'll see if that pays off. Kama, again, will be playing his spot, and they're just looking to find anyone they can get for those early picks, because those are really also been scaring forZe quite a bit.
One of the biggest problems right now for forZe is they can't find a home to work out of. They can't find a pivot point. They've gone to 3 bomb sites in 3 rounds and been unsuccessful in 2 out of those 3 so far. It could be 3 for 3 at the end of this one. As the drone's coming out from Sunrise and Kanto pushing in through Office, so collecting with Uno as they're looking to push in through the kitchen door at the base of the Cool Vibe stairs, and there's no impediment once again. forZe not stalling this out, not playing map control, at least on the west side. They are playing vertical, though. They have 2 up inside of Hall of Fame and Penthouse, and it looks like Pengu is waiting for the peak just outside the VIP double window. Unbeknownst to him, that one has crossed directly his path in front of the window. It was Shockwave the Doc, who rotate back as the E1D detonates and holds him in place inside of the cubby. And for G2 right now, it's about playing the waiting game, because you know forZe are going to have to flank to get that map control away from Kanto and Uno.
I feel like at this point their best hope is WTG or Pasha pulling off a C4 potential there. I'm sorry, not WTG, but Pasha being able to try and pull that off. Unfortunately, not going to happen, and that's not going to stop them. He does have his C4 still, though. That's that. I mean, that's that. You stop Pengu, you stop pressure from above. Suddenly, you can fight this out. But so far, no one has actually managed to run into each other. As I say, that Shockwave not only gets a bit of damage, but eventually falls, and a line to seal the deal.
Like I said, just sit and wait. Goga playing the roof for a minute and a half. I'm sure there's very frustrated words coming out into the communications on the forZe side after that one. But now Uno's ready to collect all the retreating members from forZe. You still have one hard holding inside of Theater. That's Rask, but he's next to go. Kanto files in, and once again, G2 a steamroller right now, walking through everyone with ease. A hot knife through butter is G2 through forZe. Here comes the top pressure once again from Pengu, trying to clear out anyone from behind the main desk. It looked like Kama was already rotating out, and Goga had that on a drone.
Yeah, they're definitely getting good intel. They're just taking a lot of map control. They've even rotated, taking more control from above in Penthouse. So Uno, unfortunately, the one on downstairs, gonna get pinched off, and that forces Kanto to rotate.
Come on, about 20 HP inside of the main lobby. The second smoke being used now from WTG as he launches it towards the service door. 20 seconds now as the execute's gonna come down to the wire here for G2. Kama's still playing in front of the desk, and he's gonna catch Kanto by surprise. WTG knocks down Goga as well, so now Fabian has to charge into the objective, but WTG will slap him away. 1 man remaining, and Pengu cannot hold out. forZe get back on top.
I love how WTG goes from just getting first picked in previous rounds to being the MVP of that round. First off with his smoke, pushing away the attempted entry into delivery, then getting kills on the defuse planter, trying to rush into site, and then just continuing to put pressure on almost solo, doing a fantastic job. I mean, the smoke is always important for delivery, but you have to play it right because they know how you're going to be playing to an extent as well, can completely backfire on you. But overall, fantastic play from them in that round. But it's the first round they found so far.
And immediately after that, they're going to take a tactical timeout. forZe really need to regroup, and they can feel it. They get their kitchen defense victory, but like you said, we're probably not going to see Penthouse Theater without the Mira. Even with the Mira, it's still a bit of a nightmare. You've lost the other 2 sites already, so now you got to kind of find out what your secondary site is. Right. Kitchen's obviously your new home.
What do you do when you win Ollie on your third?
So for forZe here, they need to regroup and find some footing as to where their next profitable objective will be. As we walk through the last few remaining seconds of this tag timeout for forZe. It looks right now like they're going to hookah, but that could change. They only have 3 seconds to do it as soon as the pause, or as soon as the time run pauses, but...
It makes sense, though. They're going to go back to what is their primary. I mean, I was going to say now that they can, but obviously they could before. But just to try and do the rotation again and hopefully improve on what didn't work the previous 2 times. A lot of times, it was that early pick onto WTG that set things up to be able to push onto them without a lot of counter pressure. I got to imagine WTG going to play a little more cautious this time around, but they also have the Echo to be able to provide his yokai drone to provide a little bit of intel support and hope that they don't get pushed on as aggressively as they did in previous rounds, or at least if they have the intel to call that out. Or if anyone dies early, guess what? He's on drone duty.
Well, as you can see back home, forZe have gone back to hookah, and I imagine, yeah, if WTG doesn't go for that heavy swing towards 90 and get his head taken clean off for it, then forZe might be in a better position here against G2 to be able to stall out a little bit longer. And we've had some operator rotations come out from G2 round to round, but they've gone back to this initial setup. Minus Fabian on Twitch, he's now gone to Thatcher. but everything else remaining pretty static, and Goga's not bringing the lion out anymore.
Definitely usually have Fabian kind of as the flex player of the team, and so he'll usually switch to whatever they feel like they need for it, but it's interesting that they're finally going to bring out a Thatcher. Not sure if they were which site they were predicting, but it is very likely it was going to be Hookah, so I'd imagine that was a part of that call. Interestingly enough, it could also even stun out Kama on his heartbeat sensor in a situation where they might be expecting a C4 from below. A Thatcher EMP could make it very difficult to land that correctly. It's one of those nice side effects that you could benefit from if you know there's a pulse playing underneath.
Well, G2 are going to opt to 5-man spawn at poolside, and then they'll break out into their separate groups. You got a 3-man stack right now out towards Ruins, and then the 2-man stack once again. The members have changed, though. It's now Uno and Fabian that are going to be pushing over towards the VIP side as they wait for the rest of the team to coalesce on the eastern flank of the building and make their way across. Rask, again, the solo man. He's been kind of left on an island for the most part for forZe, and he's going to be playing once again just outside of theater, playing some kill holes in the back of the wall to look for any entry from Hall of Fame from Fabian, but it looks like for right now he's tasked with meandering the rest of the map, just making sure no one is quickly entering in through VIP without his awareness.
It is unfortunate to see some of that aggression that we expect from Rask not coming out because of that timidity. Because Rask is the man to do those jump outs, to make the crazy plays, to go for those joystick style moves, and it's just not happening. Kama in the meantime trying to get an early kill, but that means a C4 wasted now. That's vital utility to stop a potential plant because C4 from below is the main problem and counter to this attack because it's default plant spot generally. Nice C4 throw, and that's another one wasted potentially there unless that was a smoke.
Trying to push up the 90 hallway. It's 2 quick kills for G2. 3 now. Uno, Cantu, and Pangu all jumping in. Gogo with 1. Rask, though, will trade out Fabian. It's down to the 1v4. Spots 1 on Cool Vibes. But Pangu on the flank once again. In G2, they're playing this extremely quick pace, and it's paying off.
So far, the only round we have the defense winning it was because forZe had the time advantage because of WTG being able to hold off the plant and then spending a lot of time rotating up and down on the map. They got so delayed pushing delivery that they were down to a time crunch. But we've been seeing, like I said, so much aggression, pushing in early, taking advantage of any openings that they see, that time hasn't really been a problem most of the time for G2. And I think that's the only thing forZe really have had going for them is when they can play that time a little bit better. But they're starting to run out of defense rounds where they can play stall tactics.
This is a very different looking forZe, and now they've already burnt their tactical timeout. They had to use it after round 3, their first defensive victory, and that's a telling sign that, yeah, they're not in the headspace right now to be competing with G2. It's kind of surviving G2, and they survived on their kitchen defense. The others, this isn't the dominating foot-forward forZe that we saw in the group stage take down Dark Zero, take down FaZe. You know, these were aggressive games, and it seems like forZe right now intimidated by the mountain that's in front of them that is G2 with all their accolades and all their prestige.
Well, I mean, we've seen a lot of teams fall to really unpredictable, aggressive play over the time that we've, especially teams like EG have really struggled with it, things like that. But G2 have never struggled against that. They always shut it down so fast. If they know it's coming, it gets shut down. And that's the thing is, forZe cannot play to their strengths right now. I mean, that's not what Empire was doing when they were playing well against G2. They're not playing that aggressive surprise play. So forZe don't have a lot to fall back on right now, other than maybe Shockwave's experience with Empire to bring to this.
Well, he's going to have to be relaying some of that experience very quickly here because you're going to have to learn on the fly. You've only got 4 rounds to lose left here on map number 1, and you might be going to Clubhouse much earlier than you previously anticipated.
Yeah, definitely going to be the case where we might not even see a lot of defensive rounds from G2, which would be a bummer. It's always nice to see a little bit of balance of both teams getting to play both sides, but this is far from over. Despite the 4 rounds you mentioned, of course, G2 has to win those. And forZe has had some opportunity to learn on the fly here. Of course, they went up against very different teams earlier, had not gone up against G2 yet, so they didn't really know what they were dealing with outside of watching VODs, and G2 don't always play the same way each time.
No, G2, one of the best teams in the world at constantly giving you a different look than what you're expecting and never being repetitive or predictable.
They are doing a very good job droning. It's not always visible from the first-person view, but there's a lot of drones going around from G2. Now, a lot of people aren't following this up, that information expires, and they've got to take that map control, but they have a lot of good intel to work with on what is clear at the moment. If they can execute off that, it's going to be, again, swift map control from G2, and that's worked out very well. They've, of course, got the Logic Bombs 1 fired off already, and they've got the Jackal track as well. So Roamers, as always, going to have a tough time on this map. The Echo drone trying to stop it. Of course, that's Goga's job to identify where that's at, although Fabian's like, I'll just face check it because it only gets 2 stuns, so.
Frantically searching for that Echo Drone now will be Fabian, as Kanto still applies pressure from 90. We've seen this every time they've attacked on the hookah. Very, very heavy 90 presence coming out from G2. It looks like there's a flank coming out from Rask at the theater stairs. Kanto might be running into trouble. He might be running into his immediate grave. Pre-aiming the corner though, Kanto, the revelation and the absolute prediction to rock Rask off the face of the map, and a frag grenade now from Penguin to Kama. G2 once again, the driver's seat, full control. No more 90 pressure from G2 though, as they're looking to go for a more standard aquarium take.
Definitely everything in their court right now. They really need to take down the Echo if they can. Penguin trying to fight it and taking a bit of damage as well. But this is down to nice angles like that from Shockwave, but Fabian trades it back on WTG.
Fabian's down, Kanto's on about 1 HP, but another one for Goga. It's a clean sweep for G2 in the ending. They had 2 bleeding out on the floor, but in the end it did not matter. And G2 now up 4-1. Commanding presence so far on Coastline.
I got a feel for forZe because once G2 gets around the site, there's no angle they aren't peeking you at the same time. You can't figure out where to fight them from. You saw fights coming from the doorway, coming from the cool vibe stairs, coming from everywhere at that point. What do? You have to have a 360 no-scope moment to be able to survive those.
Wonderful prediction there from Kanto. I don't know, it seems like forZe are getting predictable, or at least the G2 have ripped apart the VODs that were available, and oh man, it has been disappointing to see the different forZe coming out right now. This is not the same forZe that we were enthralled with in the group stage. This is an entirely different team that doesn't look like they can hang right now. We might see a different forZe when they swap sides, when they get on the attack and they can start dictating pace.
Yeah.
For right now, it's G2 all day and all night.
Well, hopefully they can reset between maps either way, because next map's theirs. They should have some advantage there, but it's all about that mentality game. At least Empire are known for their kind of stoic play. They take everything in stride, but we don't really know how cool of a head forZe have when they can't play just the way they want to against another team. And I think map control for me has really been the story of this for G2, because they take it, they hold it, they use it and put pressure on you very quickly. From there becomes their just base of death. And we've seen very few trades back on those fights because they know where you're positioned at that point just before they start to put pressure on you. And that's really good play from G2 in terms of intel, communication, and forZe are just playing off instinct, it seems, at this point. Of course, on defense, you have limited intel, but still, they just don't seem to have enough to know where to fight back from. Although that play on the stairs was good, Kanto just one step ahead.
Well, and it's also not a lack of taking intel operators for forZe. They've been rocking the Mozzie, they've been bringing the Echo. I mean, they've had their opportunities to have advanced intel on G2 for where they would be on the map. They're just not using it.
Yeah, they haven't been fluid enough in their play to be able to use that information to lead to any kills. It's more just like, okay, well, don't get killed from there.
Rask is also playing incredibly timid, like to another degree than the rest of the team. Another fun fact brought out by Spencer, Kanto has the highest survival rate of the tournament at 53% and has only died once through the first
It does help when you kill everyone you find. That usually helps you survive.
And Rask almost had the jump on him last round, but escapes on 5 HP. And that's kind of Kanto's little back pocket.
Well, 5 HP anyways, he could pick it back himself back up if he got down back to that 5 HP.
It's a bit of a magician. All of G2 are. That's why they're some of the best players in the entire world. They get themselves out of very, very tricky situations that not all players can. Again, with this top control coming out from G2 and just being surrendered by forZe. No one upstairs and the flanks being held. There's only 2 staircases. This is a pretty easy lockdown and assertion of dominance upstairs for G2.
It's interesting to see the Twitch brought out again, but on a different player. For Uno this time, who's 6 back to it, and Fabian just sticking to the Dokkaebi, which worked decently last time. They've got a lot of gunpowder on their side, that's for sure. In fact, at this point, while they have a lot of utility, every single one of those operators on attack can really gun down the players on forZe, and I think forZe are going to have to take advantage of some long angle peeks at the right spot to get any kills.
You can hear Kanto firing down after Pengu's done all of his reconstruction upstairs. Uno was holding the cool vibe stairs, but he'll fall off. So that opens up an area for forZe to take advantage of a possible flank. The only issue, though, is that you've now got Fabian inside of Courtyard. The plant going down from Goga now all of a sudden. The Echo Drone will stall it out in tandem with the toxic grenades, but Kanto acquires the kill onto Pasha. So there goes the Ela. You still have all the plant utility to worry about here if you're G2. You do have control of the entire objective. WTG will finally strike back at the heart of G2, and tagging on will be Kama. Goga on the trade, though, into WTG, leveling us at a 3v3. Kama has also been downed, and now finding that Echo Drone will be Goga momentarily as it dips away from him and is able to stun him. The plant going down once again by Goga, and no more Echo Drone in location. Pangu covering the cross as well as Uno. Oh no, one that skips through the grass in behind the Sunrise bar, but finally it'll be Goga to close it out. G2 narrowly escaped the post plant on that one, but nonetheless they come away up 5-1 at the half.
I really thought Jaeger was going to be able to make the play on Goga there because the coverage on the cross just wasn't great. And in that situation also, Pangu was in mid-rotate. Absolutely an opportunity there. He just happened to miss. Probably didn't have the intel yet again on where the plant was going down and how it was going down. He should have, though. Echo was going for the stun. Should have been calling out that that was the spot. Might have lost the drone, but that was the moment to make the play, to play aggressively against that, especially if you knew where the coverage was likely from. But you know what? They tried. Just didn't work. And now they're down to desperate plays. Finally can play again on the bomb site. The only one they succeeded on. No, I'm sorry. Side switch now. So now the only bomb site that forZe won is going to be the starting site for G2.
Attackers are activating the bomb.
I think there's been a lot of discussion about G2's run and whether or not they still are the best team in the world given their Pro League performance and having some pretty dominant games against some not as dominant competition in comparison to forZe. I think a lot of people were expecting forZe to be standing toe-to-toe with G2 based on the teams that each team has respectively taken out throughout the course of the tournament. But
well, they're the last hope here for Challenger League as well because we lost Secret last match.
Right now it looks like forZe are just outclassed from every direction.
Well, as you mentioned, side switch could change things. They don't have another timeout to try and change momentum, but this will change the swing of things. But if G2 start to lose rounds, they have their timeout as well to call a stop to things, regroup, and that really puts forZe on a huge back foot here. We'll see, though, how their map control compares. They are bringing out the Jackal as well, but they're putting Pasha on the Ashe. Try and be able to bring out a little bit more aggression on top of Shockwave trying to play the Zofia, and then having the Jackal to get those footsteps to be able to at least make plays on the intel that they get, or better yet, just try and cordon off G2 members.
Can really tell that G2 are in this zone too. Uno was going for a run out of office, trying to spawn peek in towards the ruin spawn there, and thankfully for forZe, no one got caught out by it. And Uno even lingered around outside for a little bit longer. You can see that enemy has been detected flashing on all 5 attacker screens as we had the multicam up. So yeah, I don't know, Uno feeling himself a little bit, and that's good. There's been a lot of pressure and a lot of talk about Uno as well since he came over, and how maybe the things online haven't changed. Rask, again, a free kill as he's on the objective. Okay, no one's noticing the vault in from kitchen window. Another one retreating back, cut down mercilessly by the 552 commando, and everyone from forZe now storming the gates of the objective. Uno retreating in the hallway, coming through the rotate. WTG with another one. Uno stands no chance. Fabian left alive now in a 1v5. Drops it to a 1v4 after eliminating Kama. WTG low on health as he's trying to get the plant down. No Echo Drone up in sight, and holding the angle once again is Rask. forZe able to jump in through the kitchen window, the one area left unguarded by G2, and suddenly things have turned around a little bit. That was a very impressive and sneaky round there for forZe.
Absolute credit to Rask, though. His play opening things up, and G2 just not ready to move into position just yet, as they did, getting caught off guard. It's funny, too, because you would have expected Pasha, the Ashe player, to be the one making those kinds of plays, but Rask was the one to do that in the last matchup where we were highlighting his Ashe play as well. So he's on a 3-speed with a decent gun. That's all he needs to make the plays, and finally, he's showing up there for his team again. Pasha as well has had some decent plays, and if they can keep that up with support, especially, I'm looking for some big plays by Kama. We've seen actually be a great support player, but also a great clutch player. So we'll see that, because clutch is where they're going to be heading towards pretty soon here, still being a 5-2 situation against them. They're going to change things up on defense, though. Here we're going to have Uno on the Pulse now, and Fabian on the Maestro.
One round there for forZe to possibly buoy their spirits and get them back into the mindset and the headspace of being able to compete right now, because one more round for G2 and it's map point very early on.
Yeah.
It seems like being the attacking side is going to benefit them quite a lot. It benefited them quite a lot in their maps, especially against FaZe, where they're up at the half after attacking every map. So it's no surprise to see forZe start to turn things around here on the attack, but it's the question of, is it too little too late?
I feel like sometimes attack is a strength of Russian teams like the Empire and forZe, because you'd think defense would have the better opportunity to use that aggression, but defense also is good at sometimes at buying time. And aggressive offense can make a huge difference. Just ask Team Secret, some of the early successes with very aggressive attacks. But Kanto can be equally aggressive, especially on that Jaeger roll. And now footprints are A-okay with the team because Jackal is down, and that's that comma. Unfortunately, we're not going to see anything from him this round. They still at least have the Nomad to be able to control some of those roams. But that peak there, just a lot of those bullet peaks this entire tournament.
Certainly been on the rise. Now, Pasha is going to make an entry past his dead teammate, but in the meantime, Uno will cut down Rask, so the rotation now for WTG to push into office. It seems like everyone on forZe are just picking up the pieces of their left-behind teammates. Kanta with another one onto Pasha, as he tries to push into the main lobby, so 2 left alive now for forZe. Shockwave on the rappel outside the aquarium balcony will at least down 1, and he'll be able to finish off Fabian. So there goes your anchor, your maestro. The Alda taken out of play. WTG slowly pushing in from Blue Bar, and he's going to catch Uno and rotate up Cool Vibes. Suddenly, this is starting to be a lot more believable here for Shockwave and WTG to push their way out of.
Well, forZe was definitely trying to enter and getting pushed back by G2, but once that subsided a little bit, they were able to get some kills because they were able to get into the building, get some good pressure on, and actually catching some members of G2, as you said, mid-rotate, things like that, where they were trying to reposition now that their original rebuff was done, and G2 surprisingly weren't in great trade positions for that.
Bomb located by attacker.
That is one of the most characteristic aspects of G2 is that they're always in position to trade. They play that teamwork like no other team in the world, and yet maybe a little bit of cockiness on the peak there from Fabian, and then Uno just unsuspectingly gets shot in the back as he's trying to come back upstairs and play safe. You know, he's trying to get back within that trade distance, but unfortunately he gets caught out.
At least for G2, the last 3 members are fairly close together at this point, so they can definitely trade out, and they've only got to stop 2 from forZe, so very doable on trades alone from G2 at this point. And they've got smoke to stall things out. 53 seconds left though, but Pengu setting it down to a 1v3.
It's all Shockwave now as he doesn't have the diffuser, and he can't repel immediately over to that balcony, so he's got to burn even more of what limited time he has remaining to try and get back onto the balcony, grab the diffuser, and grab 3. He's got 37 seconds to do so, and Pengu's on a very low health right now. Kanto a little bit lower as well, so is kind of doable as he's going to push in through the Cool Vibes balcony door in just a moment. Pengu on the quick peek here, and it's stalling Shockwave out. He can't make any forward progression as he's very terrified of the crossfire being established from the hallway. He's going to try and prone under one angle to isolate Pengu, but just holding for the peaks now. Shockwave is basically out of time, and as soon as he stands up, Kanto will rip his head clean off, feed him a mouthful of lead, and it's G2 now on map point.
Right as forZe was starting to get just a gust of wind into their sails, immediately torn down by G2. Once G2 slowed down for a minute, got their bearings, held sight, and just destroyed anyone that came near, set that perimeter up, and that's fantastic play coming out from G2. I mean, there's been some decent rounds by forZe, but decent doesn't do you any good against a team like G2.
Not at all. The reigning summer major champions, the reigning world champions, they've got every accolade you could possibly want in Siege under their belt. So for right now, it's a tough hill to climb here for forZe, and again, isolating that replay of the Kanto shot. It's just incredible gunplay.
I love how Kanto gets shot, and rather than backing off, just moves to the side and shoots back. He's like, that's fine, you didn't kill me, so you goofed. Oh,
incredible reaction time there on the shot, too.
He's nuts. There's the reason why, as you said earlier, he survives so often. Just, you really have to get one up on Kanto to actually help win these rounds, because he doesn't get shut down. It's just, what are you going to do? He's a very fluid player. I mean, it's like Rask ×2 at this point. So, maybe it needs to be Rask versus Kanto. Maybe that's the only chance they have at this point. That's some aggressive play from him. They are going to go with that 1-2 punch, potentially with the Rask and Pasha on the aggressive 3 speed ops again, but I mean, when you're at match point like this, it's a team that was already struggling with being timid is going to be extra timid. They can't take risks. They can't go for really power plays here. But it looked like Pasha was at least droning for one potentially, but Uno was right there. Fortunately for Pasha, drones don't have heartbeats, so Uno wouldn't necessarily catch him on that just yet. But I like how he's setting up to potentially enter wherever he needs to. Now this last side, of course, is not kitchen, it is bar, but still, getting kitchen control could very much help with pushing on the sunrise side of bar.
So Blue Bar and Sunrise Bar is where we look to close things out, at least if you're a G2 fan. If you're a forZe fan, you're looking to see this go all the way into overtime, because that's what it will require now to continue on. Anything under that will be regulation, and trying to shoot back through the bathroom drone hole. It's a quick two-piece here for G2, and oh boy, they continue to find the sneaky, slimiest ways to grab the best opening picks in this matchup. And Kama now alone, trying to push through security. He'll have to come to blows with Kantaraketi inside of the CC desk. Another one cut down outside as WTG will pick up Uno, but Kama laid to rest the hands of the 416. It's Rask and WTG to keep forZe alive here on map number 1. We're swiftly heading our way to Clubhouse. Pushing in through kitchen service entrance now will be Rask, slowly crouching his way up and darting back and forth. No diffuser control either here for the remaining members of forZe, as they don't really have a lot of options to regroup on opposite sides of the map. More drones coming out as they have plenty of time to work with here, and down to only a 2-man deficit. Isolating on the objective is going to be hard, though, as you can see the Mute Jammer and the Mozzie Pest blocking off the drone from entry. Rask making his way for the kitchen, and it looks like Kanto is ready and waiting, anticipating the entry from Rask, seeing who can acquire the better angle on the slow peak. Rask alt walking his way up to the base of Cool Vibe stairs, being pressured upon now by Goga and taking fire from multiple directions. He's cross-fired off, and he's not really finding an entryway that will be viable. The rotation down now, and another peek coming out from Pengu on top of the bar. Doesn't deal any damage, but takes some instead. Still darting off, and he's got so many Legion mines in front of him as well. He does not want to take the time to take out the electronics detector as well to find those. It's a nightmare scenario for Rask in the kitchen, and WTG in the meanwhile has not made any progress either.
This is risky, playing split up like this to try and go for a pinch against a huge man advantage. Likely a trade to end up putting it in a 1v3 at the very best. This is not the play. They really need to play together, use the air jabs from Nomad if there's any left, stop any rotations from behind, play as a team to at least trade on an entry and push forward in one spot, but this is not happening, and time dwindles away down to 23 seconds.
Everyone well aware WTG's entry is now Rask laid to rest inside a kitchen. That finally comes to an end, and Pengu trying to shut this out. The Nitro Cell goes soaring, and WTG vaults over the desk. He picks up 1 and 2 onto Goga and Pengu. Diffuser in hand, and both the remaining G2 members are lining up for one another. There goes the C4. It's all over. G2 walked their way to Clubhouse. 7-2 on Coastline.
You know, a great effort by WTG, though. We should not underplay the effort. Now waiting to clutching that out. Just the going for the C4 rather than peeking, even Fabian trying to play it safe, so WTG did not have a chance at the ace clutch. But nonetheless, I think forZe have still shown glimmers of good play. But, you know, talking about them waking up, they definitely seem to be sleepwalking at this point. They're not playing with the same panache that we saw from them before. And you know, what do you have to lose? You came in as a Challenger League team, barely got in through pushing through chaos as it was. You have nothing to lose, and you've played like it so far. Now all of a sudden, now that you have a big shot, you're getting too nervous. They're playing like they have something to lose. That is not the way to be playing now. They need to play like, you know what? This is a ranked match just for my elo at best, because that's all they have.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's map 1 in the books, and to break it all down, we have some friends on the desk. We're just waiting for everyone to be ready, but ladies and gentlemen, send it over to Gassan, Rams, and Veli. Have at her, boys.
Thank you so much, Robert. That was a hell of a game, to say the least. G2 at the helm and in control. It's Captain Fabian, as he has that eye patch on his head, and we just keep on rolling. It just seems like forZe are barely existent.
This is like the Matrix right here. That was so dope. WTG, man.
Replay, yeah.
If your vitality, that's literally the speed the round actually plays at. That's what. Oh, they start attacking at 10 rounds. That's 10 seconds left. That's exactly how it goes.
Yeah.
But please, let's take a moment to talk about G2 and what they were doing right before we say what was going wrong for forZe. Gentlemen, please.
So I'm going to say it's calculated aggression, man, especially the round before last. You saw it already. The way that Uno was peeking down over in the bathroom area through that little drone hole, I don't know if there was a camera outside default where they were able to pick him out from, or if it was just VOD steady. But when he was able to kill the player through the drone hole, Fabian was able to push through the front door and get another kill simultaneously. It just showed that they were just on another level. They were 2 steps ahead waiting for that to happen, and G2 picked them apart.
Yeah, practically figuring out where forZe were going to attack from early using the pulse scanner and then just shutting down the attack before it ever even started. Really putting forZe on the back foot right from the start, and they did that a lot on attack too. They just seemed to always win their gunfights. They were always, once again, correctly positioned to just win the fight, and then when they're correctly positioned and then they just keep winning every gunfight, it throws forZe off, and there wasn't really anything forZe could do to really give themselves any advantage except for that one round where Rask just ran into the building.
You can't depend on wins like that. If one of your biggest rounds that you won was Rask running into the building and getting a beautiful 3K, which isn't supposed to happen because nobody was on site, that's a bad way to go about it, man.
Valley, I want to ask you something from your experience in competitive play and everybody around. It goes to you as well, Rams. It's just more of a back in my day kind of thing for Valley. What's the moment where you enter a game and you respect your opponent so much you're actually afraid of them?
You don't do that. And, little context, I used to be a little pro player console back in the days with my man Rams.
So,
but
fair enough.
You got thrown out the window. You don't respect them. You got to know you're going to beat them, but you do not overlook them. And you take a look at the players, G2, they're loose, they're calm, they're relaxed. And you see other players, I'm not saying forZe, but in general, we've seen it. They get a little bit shaky, nervous, they think too much. You don't want to think too much in this situation because you overthink it. So, yeah.
It's just, like I said before, forZe have to really come together and do something special. They have to, it's going to come to a lot of individual performances out of them are just going to have to be astronomically good.
I mean, when it came to a moment where, who was it? I don't remember which player it was exactly, but on the spawn, literally drops to the floor and starts just swarming around. Factor. At that point, I was like the second to last, a couple rounds left in the map.
I think that even if Kanto wasn't going to go for that spawn kill, people would still lay down in that spawn.
It's scary. It's like you don't know if you're going to get shot or just suppressive fire. And no matter what, you've already penetrated the psyche of your opponents.
Yeah.
G2 are just playing with their minds in those mind games, man. They prove quite a bit. forZe they basically are amateurs compared to G2 when it comes to their experience. And that's, again, why we were talking about forZe as this dark horse that just came out of nowhere. And surprised everybody with their play.
You can only go so far, and that Cinderella story is going to have to end. And when you go against the best of the best, I mean, the veteranship, the leadership that Penguin and the rest of his teammates have, I mean, it's going to heavily outweigh the raw skill that forZe currently have.
It's going to take a bit more than just a kiss on the lips to make it happen.
Exactly.
Right.
So let's talk about map number 2, Clubhouse.
Okay.
That was a selection from forZe. Looking at map 1, what do they need to change specifically for Club Rams?
Well, they're going to have to go into Clubhouse, and one, they're going to have to win as many defensive rounds as possible because their attacking rounds are going to be few and far between, especially when it comes to just not only the way that the map is structured currently, but the way that, G2 are playing.
I agree.
They've been. You saw it on Villa yesterday, and we saw it a little bit on Coastline. They have some sort of off-site holds where they sort of anchor and then peel back. Slowly gaining the man advantage, not exposing themselves too much and just slowly moving backwards and then always holding crossfires on each other. So at the very last round, we saw when WTG is trying to push, he's trying to figure out, do I want to push through blue or do I want to push through sunrise? But then, they have their other player in kitchen. I can't remember who exactly it was, but, they had in the 4v2 scenario, G2 had 2 guns on each entryway.
Yes, I remember that.
And they were rotating their lines back and forth, knowing exactly where they were moving to and just coordinating who was going to watch what between the 4 of them.
Valley, I want to talk about this for a moment because I'm just getting in my earpiece that forZe is starting an attack on Clubhouse. How does that play into their operator bans and their strategies for it?
The fact that they're starting on attack, they were not explosive and as aggressive as we saw before, which is a big problem to me because, you're even questioning, where's the runouts? Where's the aggression? So if they're not doing that regularly, I mean, I'm not expecting the same this time around. Hopefully they have short-term memory where they could turn that around. I want to see them be explosive. That's why they're so good. They're so explosive. I want to see Shockwave on the kill feed all the time. I want to see Rask do Rasky things. And the rest of the roster, I believe in them. It's just all about growing up right now.
They need to go into this map and just try to win their gunfights, because if G2 just keep winning their gunfights over and over and over again, they're going to fall right into G2's trap of not having the confidence to actually push them.
Because this isn't forZe's map. This is G2's map as well, so it's like...
You talk about winning gunfights, but we've seen time and time again for Empire and for G2 that you're not just winning the gunfights on your own with pure skill. You always have drones in front of you. You always have information. Is that something that's been lacking for forZe and will continue to plague them against G2?
Well, you see moments where, you know, forZe know where G2's coming from, but then as soon as they get into one engagement, they're getting flanked from the side and just completely obliterated. And like the force and just the precision that G2 have, it's impressive. That's why they need to be able to know what each other are watching in terms of like what forZe need to do. They need to know what each other are watching so that they can, you know, actively try to cover each other and trade back efficiently.
Closing thoughts. Veli, what do you think? Are we going to...
It's back to business for G2. You know, they're back on top. Uno, he's fitting in great. I feel like they should go ahead and take Clubhouse. It's going to be a 2-0.
Rams?
I agree. I think that forZe is at a massive disadvantage, and unless they can go into this map, you know, guns a-blazing, they're not going to do very well.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for your information. Ladies and gentlemen, we still have 2 more maps potentially to go through. Will G2 just absolutely demolish forZe, or will the Russians fight back to go to map 3? We'll just have to see. Please, our storytellers, it's Flynn and Emzo.
Thank you very much, Kasan. Thank you, everybody on the desk. No hope in Russia, apparently, today in Raleigh. And this is problematic here for forZe as well, starting on the attack on Clubhouse. G2 looking to sleepwalk their way to the Grand Finals at a date with Empire to rematch the 6 Invitational Grand Finals, in which they also walked the last 2 maps almost in a coma to the finish line.
Well, you know, we got our quota of 1 Russian team in. That was probably the best we were going to do, but it could be interesting here. The Thatcher ban on Clubhouse, always an interesting one to see. This is one of the maps where Thatcher bans probably have the most impact, and G2 is going to start with that. They're very familiar with how that works out, as it's been a thing occasionally in Pro League. And the Monty ban there, going to be interesting from forZe. I don't think we usually see a ton of Monty play necessarily from G2 on this, but that does mean they want to hold Garage adequately, but that's assuming they even get enough rounds to have very many defenses, because they are starting on attack. Mirror ban, no surprise there. The last one could be a question mark, because we didn't see the Maestro or Echo last map. Possibility we don't see it this time as well, but still very likely. There's the Echo.
Pretty typical bans. I'm impressed to see the Maverick stick around. All 3 hard breachers stay around here on Clubhouse. That'll be a benefit for forZe starting on the attack.
Yeah, just the Thatcher really being the difficult part, but that means their Maverick has to be on point.
Yeah, you're going to have to be using frag grenades to get Kaid charges off of hatches from when you're attacking the basement and when you're attacking CCTV cache, which it appears forZe will be tasked with doing in the very first round here as G2 select to go upstairs. They're going to have to be quite efficient with the Maverick, and they're actually opting to bring all 3 hard breachers.
Yeah, that's definitely desperation at that point to try and get into cache.
There we
it's
go.
Good on them in reading that it's potentially cache, but I guess they decided, you know, we don't need that Hibana, and you really don't necessarily for a cache attack if you have Maverick and Thermite, depending on how you want to play your attack.
So 6 pick off of a Hibana to a Jackal eliminates all 3 hard breachers, but we still get a Jackal.
I like a 6 pick to a Jackal because it makes you less conscious about your footprints. Because you don't know going into the drone phase, obviously, that there's a Jackal in play. That's when you're going to be leaving all the footprints for him to find in a lot of situations where you're setting up your roam and you think, okay, it's just about positioning at that point, and you've left dirt tracks across the map. Pasha also using his drone to be able to find out whether or not there's anyone anywhere nearby before he face checks it later. It's good on him getting some early droning, but Uno is potentially going to spot that, and unfortunately now he's going to have to use that second drone to get in later on before he face checks the whole bar area, which is, I imagine, where he's going to be using that Jackal.
One of the most terrifying games we've seen through the group stage so far, at least for forZe, was their first map on Clubhouse against FaZe, in which they won 7-1. And they won 6 attacks. They clean swept the attacking starting half. So
I don't know, we see that from Empire as well, and we saw what happened to them yesterday.
Exactly. Again, it's the question of which forZe will arrive in this map, because we've already seen what forZe showed up on Coastline, and that was just not sufficient to be able to hang with G2. And this one, you're going to have to be on top of your game. You have to be playing even better than you did against FaZe to be able to topple the Titans in this matchup.
Well, they are trying to get that Maverick done early in case it takes a while to do the job here. So as you see there, nice cam there, just showing him trying to clear out these bandit batteries, so Pengu is going to have to struggle. But at the same time, it's kind of slowing down, stalling out a little bit. Rather than go for the old, let's just make it a soft wall with Maverick tricking, he said tries to go for the batteries. Honestly, I'm a big fan of the soft wall approach, the old Maverick tricking of cutting out the reinforcements, especially when you're going to get downed like that. Not a great start for WTG. He can't get picked up, and it's not going to be a big deal. But nope, finished off by Kanto. Well played.
Nice peek there from Kanto to be able to pick up that kill onto WTG. So, waiting out in the middle of a Maverick hole, probably not your smartest option. And a great identification of a member through a pixel there for Kanto. Starts things off, there's no more Maverick, and there's bandit batteries and mute jammers abound throughout. So, for now, this wall is still quite the impossibility here for forZe. Looks like Posh is entering down below inside a lounge, taking a lot of damage and not really winning out in the gunfight until the very bitter end, but immediately traded by Fabian through the floor with the shotgun. G2 still maintain the man advantage.
Well, at least that's one kill that's going to start things out, and that's on Uno, though, who hasn't always been the most effective player in terms of kills, so that's not the man you wanted to take down first.
So you want to talk about people shaking. That's evidence of someone shaking, shooting your own thermite charge off the wall accidentally.
Yeah, that's the jitters right there for sure. He's still got one left, but it's not going to be enough with how little time is left and the inability to open this wall, it seems. I cannot see them winning this round unless G2 get over-aggressive and lose their gunfights.
No, they still have Rafters control as well, which is what Rask is currently trying to work on, and it looks like they've gotten that second bandit battery off, so the thermite charge will detonate. They'll only have 30 seconds to execute onto the site. Shockwave still on the rappel, looking for anyone to peek from the main hallway, but Pengu playing incredibly passive and incredibly intelligent right now, as they know they have all the utility they could ever desire in the world to slow down a plant. The second Toxic Babe comes out towards the window once again, slowing down any entry from the balcony, so Goga's still got one more in the back pocket. Kanto's locking down the garage with ease. He'll rip through Rask. Another one dives in, and another one to meet his maker. Shockwave on the rappel gets one, gets two on the bait, but with 5 seconds left, he has to charge in through the breach. Kanto and Goga hold it here. Fabian on opposite sides from one another. Fabian gets downed, but the time will expire. forZe down to the wire on that one, and the frag fest nearly leans in the way of the Russians, but G2 persevere.
If Kanto hadn't have played as passive as he had, I mean, there's a chance he might have traded it, but to be honest, he had the gunfight advantage. So it was interesting to see him, of all people, hesitate on that shot, but that was a hell of an attempt by Shockwave. And unfortunately, in vain due to the early kill of the Maverick, slowing things down. And, oh my, is this for reals? This is like a Tachanka pick at this point. Bar Stockroom, this is the unicorn of bomb sites right now.
So Sua and I had some fun talking earlier on in this adventure in the group stage.
I had heard there might be a bar in the story.
there might be a bar, there might be a story, there might be a conversation that was had. And, you know, we were talking about stuff that was, you know, brought up on the cast from other games. And he was like, you know, you think bar is viable. Why in the world do you think bar is viable? And I said, well, this is why I think bar is viable. And he said, you know what? I agree.
Way to bait that one out.
So we'll see if either I'm an idiot and Sue is an idiot for believing me, or if G2 can pull this off. I think this is the first
I don't know which of those to bet on, to be honest.
I think this is the first bar stock defense we've seen in a very long time.
It certainly is, and obviously if it succeeds, though, that is going to help change the meta, because this is a team that helps lead the meta when they're succeeding, not so much in online play, but more so during LAN events. But if they succeed, we will see a lot more teams investigating how to play this. Although, to be fair, the way G2 is playing and the way forZe is playing, it could be down to more than just strategy at this point.
I will also like to point out that Pengu is rocking an M870 on Bandit, so we're going crazy circus town right here.
It's part of the strategy, okay?
Well, that's definitely not part of the strat. Rask is going to
not.
demolish Kanto on the peak there, so I imagine he's throwing out a camera, and not long for this world, maybe will be Fabian as well, down to about 30 HP. This is going nowhere quite fast for G2.
Not a good start on bar stock. This is not meta changing yet.
You are letting me down, boys.
Yeah, I don't think the strat was peak things. But nice little facts there. I love having these real-time facts where it's like, there's no way we would have the time wall casting to be able to pull up those kinds of stats.
Nope.
So shout out to CGG for pulling those out for us.
Thermite and Hibana every round. What? You can't do that anymore. I mean, you could, but honestly, running all three seems pretty redundant and kind of useless, and that's why the Jackal from Pasha continues to come out, but Thermite Charge will detonate onto the Jacuzzi wall to open that up. It's basically just Uno holding up the stairs towards Masters. The remaining 4 members of G2 have to spread, and they're going to bail out. Pengu and Uno are both going to evacuate Master and Jim. They're going to send themselves over towards construction, and it looks like they're regrouping with Fabian as well for a heavy cash hold.
What I wonder too, though, is does forZe actually have a practice take for this? It's such a rare bomb site. I mean, you have 3 other bomb sites you have to have really good multiple strats for. Chances are they're just going to have to play this rank to an extent of just trying to adapt to what they find. And I mean, I think that's what G2 was counting on a little bit with those early plays, and it just didn't work out for Kanto. And now they're just going to go back to strat territory, and that's slowed down forZe a little bit. But as soon as they get some good intel, there's a lot of droning going on, things like that, but they need to spot that peak goal. Uno should not be able to get that, but Rask showing he can do 2 this round. That is a good start. I mean, they're only a round down on this map so far. It is their map, so. Wow, the follow-up.
This is really getting picked apart here for forZe as G2 nowhere to go and no survival at all as it's a 1v5 now for Fabian pushing down the main stairs. And it's a flawless round for forZe jumping back in on the attack. So you know what? I might just be an idiot.
So, I think if G2, one of the best teams in the well, at the moment, the best team in the world, if you're going off of majors, cannot do it, chances are it's not a great bomb site.
It's still a great bomb site. We're going up to gym bedroom now for G2 as they had their fun. They tried out their pocket strat, because that's part of the thing that happens as well. As a lot
Back in the pocket.
You know, I've made all these strats. We've made all these strats, and we just never get an opportunity to use them.
I hope you wrote that one on a napkin.
I just got chirped by the G2 Esports Twitter account, so this is going really well for me. I'm having a fun time.
Was it slandering you? That's perfect. Well, we'll see how their gym bedroom defense is, because they're actually not going to Church during the first 3 rounds, and that's an oddity in and of itself, because Church is a very well defendable bomb site, has been since this map came out in the very beginning of the game. I remember a lot of good year 1 plays throughout those seasons, and it's never really changed too much, other than when this map got the revamp and everyone wanted to try cash at first, but Church, again, you know, resulted as the dominant bomb site. So G2 is keeping it interesting, because gym bedroom has a very, very mixed success rate depending on the team.
Well, we'll see if G2 can get back on track and back to some normalcy here as we're bringing out a castle. So this was another thing that happened earlier on between forZe and FaZe when they played on Clubhouse, was that FaZe on the defense of gym bedroom were never bringing the castle, and forZe were ripping through it.
Well, yeah, that's the de facto play, right? It's covering those windows, covering the ability to be able to play in that 90-degree hallway, and then also the follow-up to that is the Kaid, to be able to try and hit the wall from afar, as well as potentially impact tricking it. You need those 2 essential ingredients, I think, to play this site correctly. I mean, you can get fluke wins without them, but I think they are must ingredients in the recipe on this bomb site.
Well, for forZe going for an entire east side take here is pretty normal to push your way across, especially when there's so much resistance built up inside of Cash and CCTV. So for forZe here, a little bit of a far side clear, and actually part of it's actually trailed off in towards the Jacuzzi wall. WTG taking damage. Is that through another drone hole? Is he just having a bad day with drone holes?
It's not a lot of damage, though, so I'll credit him this time to getting away in time. But yeah, it looks like Uno punishing him through the Maverick holes.
Well, WTG is forced to fall off as he doesn't really have any friends either. Everyone started out, and it looks like it's just going to be Pasha playing these prone angles to stop any peaks coming out from the server window. Make sure that everyone is safe out on that master balcony so they can really drive play and lock down the anchors inside of master.
Well, actually, WTG has rotated to the other side to help with that wall. So in this case, they're actually just using this to put pressure on this side, on the Cash side. And obviously, it helps to get in there, but yeah, they would have to deal with 2 in there. However, Shockwave punishing Fabian's run out. He was the castle, not the most important player to keep around, but that's extra impacts that will be lost now, assuming he didn't bring a bulletproof camera.
Big missed opportunity there for Pasha as Uno cross paths with him twice trying to go peek the server window, and he's able to escape just down to about 50 HP himself. So he'll retreat back to Cash to his safe haven in behind the reinforcements and the fortress that they've built up. But Kama's already made it in, and again, we see these flashbangs coming over the wall, a down and a finish off there for Pengu. Will take down Shockwave, and that's the entirety of the master balcony clear now as WTG and Kama continue to try and push in through this Jacuzzi wall. Another one for Pengu as he's on a tear. Finally traded out now by Kama on the Thermite as they try and charge through and barrage the Jacuzzi side of this engagement. But again, they cannot get through this wall. Stalling out and unable to open up the bathroom wall. 50 seconds now tick away against forZe.
At least they've droned and know that Goga's in there, but it doesn't do a lot of good if you can't open it, and they certainly do. That's going to let some fresh air into that, I imagine, stinky bathroom. But Goga is going to keep it stinky with his gas canisters till WTG makes up for the previous round.
Kanto looking to go for a flank from the main stairs as it's just Uno holding inside of sight, but Kanto does his job from the stairwell as WTG will fall, dropping it down to a 2v2. Pasha laying in smokes, try and disrupt the purview, but Uno will be downed, and now Kanto left alone in the 1v2, cordoned off by Kama on the main stairs. In the midst of the reload will allow him to escape, but Pasha on the flank will take down Kanto. So it's 2 in a row here for forZe as G2 tried the offsites and it doesn't pan out.
There's a reason they're called the offsites, unfortunately. Didn't work out for Dark Zero either, so maybe the offsites are not necessarily the plays at these big tournaments where teams seem to be able to respond to them a lot better. The pocket strats aren't as well tested because you've been hiding them for so long. You probably didn't get a chance to scrim them as much as you'd like to really, bulletproof them, and I think we're seeing that backfire. However, Church will be gone too here. Make sure G2 has a prayer in taking this map, because, let's be honest, G2 don't want to play map 3. They want to stay fresh for tomorrow, because with that infinite overtime, we've seen before how a G2 Empire final can go with infinite overtime. And that's not a situation where you want to be tired at all.
Not at all. So for resting up here and honestly maybe conservation of strategy purposes, we've heard that excuse plenty of times coming out of the G2 camp. So maybe they're just trying to keep things hidden from Empire, especially in regards to their Clubhouse. That's a map that Empire are definitely going to want to play. We know Empire hate Villa, so at that point, Clubhouse will most likely be available unless G2 elect to make that their only ban. In a best of 5, you only got 1 per team, and you got to play them all.
And that's the thing too, is there's always the kind of meme joke about G2 saving strats, but they really do have to an extent, because you got to imagine if there's some Russian camaraderie as well, and you beat forZe, anything forZe learned, they might consider sharing with Empire to be able to help them succeed in that final, to give the Russian teams that extra little boost. So G2 can't afford to show too much, but at the same time, they need to make sure to dominate. But at the same time, they can risk losing this map. It is something where in the realm of possibility for them to be able to potentially sweep the third map without a huge hindrance. So I can't imagine they're going to go. The bar stock was interesting, but I guess they technically didn't show much on that.
Didn't show much of anything on that one, no, unfortunately. So Goga, we've seen him absolutely rack up kills from underneath the floorboards here in the depths of Arsenal on Clubhouse just a couple games ago. And for him, he was on a tear with that AUG on the Cade. Usually you see the TCSG, the giant DMR death laser shotgun, but instead it's just the AUG today for Goga. And for everyone on G2, everyone remaining pretty pat on site. I think they've had their fun maneuvering the map and having their escapades about and running into the flank holes that forZe have been laying. But for now, it's time to get back to business. And getting back to business means Fabian getting shot up very early on and having to retreat to K9.
It's not a big deal though, because this is a very turtle-heavy site, and I think G2 know they can play a bit turtle against forZe's attack here, because some of their early aggression has been punished fairly often, and I think this is the smarter play, to just play this the way you know how to play. You know the angles to play, you know how to play defense on it. Just play what you know, slow them down, make them panic on time, because it can take a while to get things set up for an execute, and just bait them into you at this point. But of course, forZe do know how to play some aggression as well when they're not playing timid, and since they've been doing decent on this map, I imagine that's going to give them a boost of confidence that they really, really needed.
We always talk about the efficiency with those gas tanks on the Maverick, and WTG, unfortunately, not the most efficient as he burns through nearly 3 whole gas tanks just to get a hatch open. So that means that you're not going to be opening 2 with the Maverick. One of these top hatches will be soft, as I imagine everyone's returned to this year 1 mentality as Pengu firing up the floor, saving Goga as Goga was getting absolutely massacred. But we've seen this return to Season 1 form of everyone just trying to thermite open the church wall. Luckily for WTG, though, he does have a bit of a flank happening here inside of Blue Stairs in tandem with Shockwave pushing from the oil pit tunnel. It's going to leave one member of G2 cordoned off and caught in the middle of a crossfire. Fabian pre-fired off the face of the planet as Pengu will jump in and trade out WTG. So there goes the Maverick. Just a Shockwave to worry about inside of blue. Now you've lost your Alda though. Goga on 1 HP. There goes Pengu as well. Starting to go very awry very quickly for G2 as everyone on 4 start piling into the objective on their own individual angles though. Uno will chew through Kama. 2 up left. Oh no, a team kill there for Pasha, but he also grabs Uno. Now it's the 1v2. They had the man advantage and they threw it all away. forZe choking in the clutch and G2 able to level.
Wow, just that's where you really regret the TK. You know, you get the TK and you succeed in the round, no big deal. That's just it. Not whatever, we can move on from there. But when it's a situation like that and you have a lot of advantage, you've been playing your attack well, getting your crossfire, setting things up, and you kill one of your crossfire players that could have helped save that round, that's a tough pill to swallow. But either way, there was some great play from Pengu, especially trying to help save his teammates. Saved Goga at one point, tried to get a save on another on Fabian, didn't quite make the save, but did make the trade right there. Still not quite enough up till the very end when Kanto having to save things with not his gun, but a C4. Still though, this is definitely forZe at top form despite some of the jitters now. I think they've got some confidence. If that team kill doesn't shake them too much, I think they've still got some rounds to pick up here on attack.
Well, now returning to a little bit of victorious form here for G2 as they finally get their defense on a normal site and they prevail and walk away with a point in the W column, but now they get to go back to CCTV and Cash, where they also previously won based on forZe, I don't know, having a lot of difficulties with that Maverick on the CC wall, really stalling out. That round really wasn't G2 doing anything special. It was them sitting and waiting for forZe to get their act together.
Yeah.
And it just never came into the last 10 seconds.
I gotta imagine after this, you pick a different player to play that Maverick role. It's just not been great for WTG. Even his fuel management, as you mentioned that last round, where he was doing a bit better, his fuel management wasn't there, and it's just, it feels like maybe he's not the most practiced Maverick player we've seen, and it just came down to that Thatcher ban forcing him to play that role that probably not totally comfortable on, and G2 kind of exploiting that. Maybe it was a possibility, I was going to say this at the beginning of the match too, that maybe they banned Thatcher because they saw a weakness in this team's Maverick play.
Well, the good news is with G2 letting off the gas pedal a minute there, I mean, forZe have their quota, basically. Goga's on 5 HP, not entirely sure how in the hell that happened. But he's not having a fun time inside of Cash right now.
No, this looks like last round for him, but he's an even more important operator. The Kaede is one thing, but smoke is more important.
The good news for forZe, though, as I was saying, though, is they've hit their quota for attacking rounds 1.
Absolutely.
G2 let off the gas pedal a little bit. They stopped throttling so hard. And I mean, at this point, you've got your 2 attack wins. You could lose the next 2 and still be in a comfortable position knowing you're going to the defense. The only issue is, are G2 going to be better than your pretty disappointing effort so far on the attack?
It's interesting to see the Rook play as well, because I feel like we haven't seen a lot of Rook this tournament. I mean, we've seen a lot of Doc, occasionally a Rook, but I feel like Doc has really dominated that old school Rook role we used to see. It's definitely been paying off, and I think some of that is due to having the bulletproof camera and just getting that extra bit of intel that they need at this high level. But again, a slow take here from forZe, just trying to get the wall open as best they can. They haven't opened it already. Nope, they have not. So WTG needs to get some work done here. Kama also following that up, because there's not really bandit tricking or anything going on. There's just the Kaede tricking potentially from Uno.
My, oh my, how in the world is this happening? WTG, it's a pretty simple concept to open the wall with a Maverick, and yet it still continues to stall forZe in infinity.
This see wall, you apply fire, you're done.
There's not a lot of progression here for forZe, and they're going to lose Pasha for it as they all stand around waiting for this wall to be opened up. Kama going for it again. The impact coming out from Pengu, but they don't make it through. 3 impacts being sent out between Uno and Pengu. None of them connect on the thermite charge, but Kanto will get a kill for it anyway. There goes your Maverick that's been so unsuccessful. WTG to meet his maker, and Kanto still reliably as ever holding down the garage rafters.
Well, time is dwindling, and that's the most important thing here. And Pengu killing Rask is going to really slow that down even more.
Last 2 members for forZe separated as Kama will now be downed out on the master balcony. A jump out there for Fabian to secure the kill. Shockwave at least trade out Kanto. He's got some rafters control, but initially in a 1v5, now in a 1v4 with 30 seconds left, and everyone on G2 holding angles, ready and waiting for Shockwave to enter. Oh no, Uno's able to drop him to about 25. can't get the last lethal blow in. So Shockwave on 25 HP with 15 seconds is going to walk to his immediate death here in just a moment. Pengu playing the punch hole, watching for the top of the rafters ladder. And you can see the silhouette closely getting there, and there we go. Pengu's going to wrap it up with a nice little bow. G2 able to extend the lead now to 3-2.
Well, it just goes to show when they don't try and play the goofy sites, they're managing to pull things off. I mean, they didn't have a bad idea, of course, forZe and Bedroom. That just didn't work out for them in the end. But still, this is a top form G2, it looks like here. Even Gogo with that low health the entire round, not getting picked off, just never got punished for it. They are going to try Gym Bedroom again, potentially here, and that could be very important. If they're able to stick that, that's going to be pretty nice on their points. But like you said, quota already being met by forZe in terms of getting 2 attack rounds because this is such a defender-sided map, especially with that Thatcher ban in play. Definitely should be doable. However, obviously, the more rounds you can pick up on this attack, the much more slack you get on your defenses, especially if you wanted to try or have to rotate to your third bomb sites and then just can't win those. We'll see how WTG does this round, though. Can he succeed on this wall again? I mean, again, he struggled with it quite a bit, moved back and forth between the server wall and the jacuzzi wall. Seemed to struggle a bit with it. They ultimately won the round and ultimately got it open, but I would like to see some more efficiency from him. He's had enough rounds to practice now to really be on top of that. But I gotta wonder too if Uno is gonna be using this heartbeat sensor to kind of read into positions where they might even be able to compromise WTG again, just by, rather than peeking the holes, just finding the heartbeats and being able to call out that position for those peaks we see from players like Kanto.
One of my biggest concerns for forZe right now is it's not only the advanced systems that are failing, it's the fundamentals. You know, it's opening up a wall with Maverick, making sure that the reinforcement, the metal portion falls, it turns soft, and then you can buck it open, or Zofia it open, or Jackal shotgun it open.
I gotta wonder if he's just never done that before.
It kind of looks like it right now, and you gotta wonder what the round count might look like if forZe could actually apply some pressure onto G2, onto these CC defenses, because it's been 2 rounds now where it's been none such. But another fact being brought up by Spencer, Splek from CGG, G2 has struggled to hold the bedroom bomb site, going 0-2 on it against Secret and losing it once today.
So not great. Bedroom good for sleeping, not good for defending.
We might see a 3-3 here then, based on the stats, or G2 will buck the trend and we'll head into the normal 4-2 split, at which point it'll be on forZe. Their destiny will be in their own hands. Can they hold their own in the defense and send us to overtime?
Definitely possible. Rask might help with that bucking part, but not in G2's favor. Sorry, I had to do that. It's over now, we can move on.
Dad jokes all around. So WTG...
Oh, some damage coming out on WTG. Really, I mean, just let someone else try. Let Kama play. You could play Thermite. That's an easy roll.
My big question is why even bring the Thermite at this point? Or if you can just swap up your Maverick.
They obviously don't know how to do the Maverick trick, because you don't have to worry about batteries or electricity when the wall becomes soft. For those of you who don't know, it's just where you go across the top and a bottom with a line. It removes the entire hard part of the wall, leaving the soft part, which Zofia or Buck can then open, or even Jackal at this point. You have so much soft destruction. Just, yeah, like you said, you don't need the Thermite, just use the Maverick correctly. I know it feels harsh, but I mean, come on, you could get some easier attack rounds here.
Well, that's the thing, because without these walls getting opened up for forZe, they're all amassing on balconies, and there is sitting ducks for Uno. There goes Rask on the pulse. Uno still firing in through these windows. He's got 2 more to find, and he knows it with the heartbeat sensor. He'll enter in towards the window. Both be spotted, and now I think that's Pengu who's going to try and take a swing at him. A Nitro Cell being prepped here, being launched out by Uno, and saying goodbye to the both! WTG and Shockwave are done for! Finally opening up a construction wall will be Kama on the Thermite, as they cannot make any headway, and forZe look like ghosts of themselves. Kama entering in through Lounge to join Pasha as they try and push in from the cash side over after they've opened up construction, so just headlessly running around right now for forZe. There's only 2 remaining in a 2v5. Less than 30 seconds tick down. Kama being shot down through the hatch by Fabian. This is a nightmare scenario here for forZe, and it looks like it's going to be G2 wrapping up yet another one. Kanto ready to turn the corner with ease. There goes Pasha. 1v5 now for Kama. Desperation attempt to push up the main stairs. It won't be 3 Nitro Cell kills on the round as Kama narrowly evades that one, but pushing up, it's Kanto. A flawless round for G2. 3 rounds away from a rematch against Empire.
That looked similar to my attempt to push up white stares during the show match earlier. Just, you sure I should do this? I guess I have to. But that's breaking the trend there. So nicely done by G2, finally succeeding on that bomb site. And that puts them in a good spot, of course, to have that lead in terms of the 4-2 going into this in case they struggle on that attack. Because, of course, if they get their quota of 2, that puts them on match point, especially if they get it before forZe can get their 4. That puts a lot of pressure on forZe on that match point. We'll see Church start the safe bet here coming out from forZe. That's the way to do it. Start safe, especially when you're already down a map.
G2 now ready to rock, and I imagine Gogo will be, hopefully, a more competent Maverick and able to progress the round. And interesting, so G2 in the driver's seat right now, up 4-2. They're going to take a tack timeout to talk things over and make sure they have every single duck in a row to make sure that this is going to go as smoothly as possible. Trying to round this one out, not show off too much in the VODs because you still have a whole day until the grand finals tomorrow against Empire, should you make it through here. It's not over just yet for forZe, but the way they've looked so far, G2, really, it's up to them to throw this one away at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I don't blame G2 for taking the tack timeout here just to make sure they keep their heads on, because we see it a lot used on the sides, which the only other alternative I can see is if they saved it for if they started bleeding rounds.
Yeah.
But I think they just want to keep the edge, keep forZe scared, keep them on the back foot. But at the big advantage now that forZe have is WTG doesn't have to play Maverick anymore.
Absolutely. He can play Smoke now on the defense, and he was kind of an early casualty on Coastline against G2 as well in the Smoke. Looks like there's a crowd favorite being decided here. G2, much to the favor of the audience, is winning quite handedly. And a 6-pick now for Fabian off of the Hibana to the Capitao. We're still going to keep 2 hard breachers, though. We're still keeping the Maverick and the Thermite, as we were unsure where the bomb site's going to be if you're a G2 player right now, and it's going to be downstairs into the basement for forZe on their first defense.
It is surprising to see that forZe didn't try and abuse the Capitao in terms of just the sheer power he has on a lot of the different bomb sites and just overall as an operator, whereas G2, of course, very familiar with that and usually being banned, finally getting a chance to unleash that and sneaking in with the 6-pick. So that's definitely a great start. Of course, we might see Goga doing some good efficient fuel usage in terms of the hatches this time, so that'll be good as well. What I want to see, though, is can forZe stop the kitchen hatch from being open, because that is a big factor for a lot of teams playing down in Church. If kitchen hatch needs to be open for G2's strat, I mean, it's obviously we'll see this round, but I feel like I want to see if some of these tricks, like the Maverick trick and the Impact trick, they have enough fluency in as a newer team to such a heavy comp scene.
Well, they all jump in, and everyone on G2 ready to rock and roll as we're looking to see G2 possibly extend their lead even further. We've been seeing a lot of this so far as the rounds, after a 4-2 split, we haven't really seen a lot of closing the gap down to a 4-3. There's been a lot of 5-2 leads the teams have had to come back from, but this could be forZe's first real breathing room and able to keep the game close, because it hasn't really been close through all of Coast, and G2 were playing some offsites there, giving forZe a little bit of an inch to come back, but outside of that, it's been G2 the whole way.
It feels a little sad to say that G2 kind of gave them the 2 rounds they have.
It's not exactly fair to say that, but it's kind of what it looks like. And Uno holding the main stairs right now will drone out Pasha, who's playing incredibly aggressive at the base of the main stairs, and he's 4 inches off the objective, but yes, on Clubhouse basement, that's incredibly aggressive. He's gonna rip on back as he gets droned out just to go back to safety. As G2 a little slower going here as well, but they do have control of the top 2 floors. No potential for flanks either, so it's going to come down to forZe being able to stall out inside their own objective. I don't know. Oh, Pasha was launching up a Nitro Cell. That's what he was doing. He tried to throw it up through the Moto hatches being opened by Pengu, who is also on Breach. That's questionable as well. It's been a weird day for G2 to say the least.
Yeah, it definitely has been, but you know, at the end of the day, all that matters to them is the W. They don't care about the score lines. They reset between maps. They are a team that is all just about winning, and so far they are. So it doesn't really matter. Those little flubs don't really impact them too much, I don't think, honestly. Goga gonna show hopefully that efficiency there, mavericking the wall, so they don't want to have to deal too much with the Kaid or the Bandit. But the Smoke at least pressing them back a little bit. Goga going down as well, that will really help on that wall. Now Pengu is going to be the one to have to try and get that open if they care about Church Wall as part of their strat, although they could go for even sometimes a split hallway and motor drop push. But Uno taking him down with the double kill grenade.
Huge double frag there for Uno onto Pasha and WTG. So again, your smoke is dead early for forZe on the defense. It's been a tough go of things, trying to peek out into the lifeline being sent out, but Kanto absolutely demolishes Shockwave on the pixel angle. Another one taking aim, and finally, they'll take care of Kanto pushing down the oil pit tunnel, but still a 3v2 advantage. Kama being lit up and forced to evacuate into the dirt tunnel as the rest of G2 assault onto the objective. Sprays wildly through the wall, won't connect onto Rask as he still darts in behind the generator inside of blue, but a great peek there from Fabian leaves Kama left alive alone inside of dirt to suffocate. No way out and being aggressed upon now. Pengu will close it out. G2 inching closer and closer to the grand finals.
Well, G2 definitely making sure that forZe stay in dirt for as long as they possibly can. That is a bit of a metaphor for how things are going so far. And it is unfortunate for forZe as they just have so little breathing room left. And this is a high-pressure situation on a map that they are supposed to be winning. But as was mentioned in the analyst desk, this is also a great map for G2. And G2 know it. That's why they were able to try their pocket strats, try and bring things out, experiment a little before they decide whether or not they want to use that stuff against Empire. Although I almost wonder if Empire will even want to try and play Clubhouse, given how they struggled on it yesterday. But either way, some great plays. The nice denial by Pasha as well. Take it down, Goga really helped open things up a little bit from them, but Uno's grenade here, absolute game changer. That is unfortunate. Pasha was going to go down with that as well. Just, I mean, look how far back they are too. They're like, oh, we're clear of the wall, but not of impending doom.
So we do have a bit of a technical pause, and yeah, we're still waiting to get back underway. It looked like one of the referees was dealing with Pengu's microphone on his headset there, so we might be waiting just a moment to get some audio issues sorted out. And as always, microphones do break, headsets do break over time.
Oh, audio. Audio is definitely the joy of any event. Anyone who's done these kind of events knows it's
always audio.
It's the gremlin for sure.
So a bit of a free break here for forZe to try and recollect themselves mentally.
I think the coach can't talk during
No, you cannot talk to the players if you're a coach during a technical pause. During a tactical pause that you only get one per map, then yes, you can, but you can see Shaz does not have the mic down.
I feel like he's wishing he did, though, right now. He looks like he's got something to say and just isn't allowed to.
It's not always Shaz, though. He's always got something to say.
I mean, he looks especially pensive right there. It's just, he wants to say something.
For forZe, though, I mean, you're 2 rounds away from being eliminated from the tournament. It's been one hell of a Cinderella run, though, for forZe. You must admit that the teams they have taken down inside their own group and then onward has been remarkable to see from them, especially a team that we have noted so many times now that it's getting nauseating to say, but a team that is only in Challenger League and only just qualified for Challenger League.
You got to remember, though, those slippers are made of glass, and you can only walk on them for so long before eventually you got to work your way back through some real shoes. But hey, Challenger League, definitely going to be scared of these guys when it starts, regardless of how this turns out.
You're able to take down Dark Zero and FaZe and push your way forward to the quarterfinals into the semifinals with a date with G2. And maybe things haven't gone as well as planned against G2, but when do they ever for any other team in the world at a LAN event?
Yeah, certainly not for AG, and Empire have struggled as well. It's just seems like every team tries to just wash up against the rocky shore of G2, and it just never works. But looks like we might get another church attempt if it sticks, though. So I'm curious what they're really going to change up on that defense, because honestly, I feel like G2 potentially will just play it better a second time, knowing how the hold goes. Although I got to imagine Uno's grenade probably won't find its mark as easily a second time around. Of course, there is a Jaeger, and he might just commit extra ADSs to help secure that, because yes, he's going to need some to play blue, because that's a pretty typical way to play. You play behind the generator with ADSs so you can protect yourself, but hopefully we'll get back to it here soon.
We are getting back underway right now. So we are going back downstairs. It's forZe on the defense still. Church and Arsenal at a 5-2 deficit. They stand on the precipice of being eliminated from the major in Raleigh, North Carolina here. To G2, I mean, that's a fun thing to say, to be able to say, yeah, we only got knocked out by G2. That's
absolutely.
That's a good saving grace.
As long as you're not saying it about groups.
Exactly.
Saying it here on the main stage, that's fine. I mean, I would go home with my head held high if I was forZe, regardless. I mean, I know it sounds like we're writing them off, but if you've been watching the match so far, I think there's some justification behind maybe a little bit of wonder if forZe can bring anything more here.
It would require an incredible amount of persistence and perseverance to be able to push up this much of a gap. They are on the defense, though. They are on the favorite side of Clubhouse. The only problem is they've got to go to tertiary bomb sites if they're going to start making the run, and you've only got 2 chances to lose now. You're going to have to play the tertiary bomb sites twice in that run. You're going to have to be successful in ways that very few teams have been this entire tournament on Clubhouse, whether you're on the defense or the attack.
I don't think we'll see a bar stock from forZe. I can tell you that much.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, at least they're trying to kite the hatches, they're banditting the walls. They're trying to do what they can to slow things down. But I see Pasha is actually reinforcing to the bottom of the stairwell where he was playing before. So they're tuning back the aggression a bit, trying to hope that they can get G2 into favorable angles, similar to what G2 did towards the end. Regardless, Pasha actually takes a lot of damage for his trouble. Must have been a team damage because, I mean, there hasn't been a lot of the round yet, but you never know. It might have been even some play from Uno playing on that buck.
Pasha was also the one to try and flex up main stairs last time and got droned out. I imagine Uno probably anticipated that this time and caught him off. And he's still dancing with the devil here inside of Moto as the hatch is being opened up by Goga instead of Pengu this time because it has been kaited by Kama. So some operator changes here for forZe as they try and slow things down a little bit for G2. They felt like they had way too much control way too early last round. And again, time control has been an issue for forZe on the attacking side. They're trying to make it an issue for G2, who seem like there's not a whole lot in the world that could slow them down.
Well, Moto hatch has been opened, so there's definitely some progress being made. Yes, it's only a minute 30 left, but G2 know how to play from here, so I don't anticipate it being a problem unless we just see some really interesting moves by forZe that G2 are not anticipating, and just maybe a kill or 2 to really weaken their ability to play as a team. Because that's the thing, is much like fighting Empire, you really need to pick off 1 or 2 players early to have a lot of chance in it not being a flawless round for them on a win, just because they played together so well as a team.
Well, that's going to be an issue as well. Looked like Pasha tried to throw a Nitro Cell over the top of the wall, but it got zapped by the Bandit batteries, and there he goes anyway for his trouble. Kanto drops him from all the way inside of blue as he tried to stand up on top of the bar, exposing himself just a little too much vertically. And then with ease, Kanto dispels the last 20 HP that he had left. So down to a 4v5 here for forZe, and 2 members of forZe stacking in towards blue. Shockwave and Rask, and just trying to clear out the back of Arsenal now will be Uno with his frag grenades. They weren't able to open up the kitchen hatch, so they won't have direct pressure like they did last time until just now, as Pengu will try and open it up. Spotting a foot momentarily is Uno. Tap firing away, but he almost dies to his teammate's thermite charge. Nonetheless, Pengu grabs the kill with the pistol in hand. Shockwave taking damage, but he's able to beat it out against Kanto, and slowly crouching his way in will be Goga as he pushes his way in behind the black box. Another one for him as Uno tags on. 1 member left is Shockwave in behind the blue box, being swarmed from all sides. G2, match point, series point, going all the way to the finals point. All they need is 1 more.
This is not looking good for forZe. That's their supposed best bomb site, and it's fallen twice. As I said, the second time even worse, just because G2 knows how they play it, and they could not change up nearly enough to throw G2 off. Plus G2 know how to attack. You can hear the crowd out there cheering for G2. They are definitely looking for this close here. This crowd wants to see it done and dusted, and forZe obviously wishing they had brought more fans, flown them out here, because they need the energy right now.
Well, it looks like the technical pause wasn't even enough for forZe to come away with a victory and regroup, so they will take their tactical timeout, the only one here on Clubhouse, as now both tac timeouts have been utilized. And for G2, all it takes is 1 for forZe. You need to run up 4 in a row, which means you're going to have to run one of those tertiary bomb sites. Any site is still open, and it looks like forZe, for the time being, as they discuss things, they're going to be reattempting Church and Arsenal for a 3rd time. At this point, I'd probably be looking to go upstairs to CC and Cash.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to bring anything so new that G2 are going to be like, we've never seen this before. Especially against a team like G2 with such a long history in this game, and forZe being so new to the scene. I mean, obviously, you know, these players have been around for some time, I imagine, but not at this level outside of Shockwave, who goes all the way back to Room Factory and Empire. He's been at the scene, but 1 player out of 5, I mean, he's going to have some real plays. Pasha going to go on the Ella. That's, I suppose, the big surprise. No Kaed, but also the Mozzie to try and stop some of that drone play. So they are looking for surprise. Pasha even shooting a drone there as well. So let's hope for forZe's sake that this is enough to shake things up. But I got to imagine, at the very least, they might just get some early picks on G2. And I don't know if that'll be enough.
The good news for forZe, though, is they are at least trying a different strategy, even if they are repeating the same bomb site for a third time in a row, which is we're going to roam. We're going to hold as much map control as possible. Because to be fair, G2 has been taking a lot of time, not extra time that they can't, but they're pushing into site with about 20 seconds, 30 seconds left. It's getting down to the wire, especially when they aren't really focused on plants. They're really focused for just straight up killing power. So, it's getting down to the wire, and I think maybe forZe are thinking, if we can just burn an extra, 30 seconds, if we can just burn an extra 45 off their timer, we might be able to just get this one on time.
The important thing, though, is they're going to have to play as a team as roamers, though. They really, really need to play together, and Pasha getting that early pick is certainly going to help that. Again, just fall back, let your teammates support you. Fortunately, Rask falls next to Kanto, so trade for a trade. I'd take killing the Captal for the Jaeger any day, though.
Well, that's Kitchen Hatch wide open. Dirt's now being opened up by Goga as well. It looks like G2 are reading into this and trying to isolate site. That's what Fabian was trying to do as well, trying to push down the main stairs, but he met a Scorpion at point blank, and not many attackers are going to survive that. The chance rain out, let's go G2, as we're so close to ending it, but there's so many members for forZe elsewhere on the map. Pengu taking fire from up above inside of logistics with an impact hole opening in towards the Kitchen Hatch. Pash is still running around downstairs, trying to hold the main stairs, darting back and forth and evading the pings now will be WTG in the middle of Arsenal. That's Kanto applying pressure from up top with the Zofia lifeline. Another one droned out as everyone's returned to site except for Kama. He knows he's locked off inside of the bar right now.
Definitely. This is a tense moment for forZe because they need to decide, do we strike now or not? But Goga in the meantime being so close and dirty here. Kama at least taking out Pengu. This is doable here for forZe.
Yeah, the flank through bar, and there were 3 G2 members inside of Kitchen. One will fall, that's Pengu, who's already done his job in opening up the Kitchen Hatch, but now the toxic smokes come out a little earlier for WTG, but understandable, as you don't want everyone filing in through that Kitchen Hatch and overwhelming your site. Kama's still locked upstairs, so it's a 3v3 on site with a bit of a flank involved, and now Uno trying to come for the flank in through pool table. WTG is been down and finished off. It's 2 quick ones for G2 now, and a third leg sticking out there from Shockwave at the blue box. It's down to Shockwave and Pasha to keep forZe's hopes alive, and there goes Goga onto Pasha. Shockwave needs a 1v3 clutch to keep the menace, or it's going to be a 7-2 final yet again. The entire church wall is soft, and Uno will blow it wide open to the skeleton key. 43 seconds now. Tick away, rotating in through Church, and Uno just barely misses the flick. Now pinching from inside of Dirt and underneath the Kitchen Hatch. Shockwave completely surrounded as the plant is going down momentarily. They will pull off and all barrage him. Goga closes it out. The best support in the world on the best team in the world. They have a rematch from the 6 Invitational with Empire tomorrow.
The play from G2, just phenomenal that entire time. They lose 2 important players and still push ahead. And unfortunately, some of the holes that forZe had to leave to play that roaming strategy ultimately backfiring, but Goga absolutely the MVP of that round. The man who is generally playing a lot of support roles, certainly supported with his bullets that round. Fantastic play by him, and Uno also helping on that push. But I mean, what do you do against a team like G2? You cross your fingers, you hope you can make some plays. I would have liked to see a little more confidence, honestly, from forZe in the first map, because I think that could have given them a little bit of a better shot, even if they would have lost that map. Just having that base to work from, because if they lose that map, they go, no problem. We took some rounds for G2. We didn't let them control us. Unfortunately, I think they're going to need a few more of these kinds of events and matches under their belt to really solidify their confidence going forward. But I'm still very, very proud of these guys in terms of making their run from not even playing in Challenger League yet through qualifiers to the point they are. This is very impressive.
An absolutely magical run cut just short by the reigning world champions. forZe will go home, finishing in the semifinals. Something that I don't think many predicted, and there was quite the vocal minority online saying that it is a possibility, but I'm sure plenty of us, including myself, never thought that they would make it to this point. So for now, it's G2 and Empire, a rematch of the 6 Invitational. It's
I'm a little disappointed in a way, because I think a lot of us predicted G2 Empire in the finals. I think we were hoping to be surprised a little bit.
Absolutely. You know, it's still going to be a fun game regardless, but we get to see maybe a series that won't be a 3-0, maybe a series that'll go a little bit longer. There's infinite overtime on all the maps as well.
We saw that used very quickly in its debut. Obviously, I think that exhausted Empire a little bit, but I got to imagine they're going to be a bit better prepared for that this time, and hopefully they can manage to slog through if they have to. But at the same time, I think that was showing there was some equal skill there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for me and Devin for the week. And ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention to the stage with Alex and Fabian. Good night.
That's right, folks. I'm here with... I'm kidding. All right, folks. Pengu here. Guys, give it up for G2 Esports. What a dominating performance from them. The G2 train keeps rolling, man. You guys looked vicious in that game against forZe. You know, Fabian had some colorful language to describe forZe yesterday, but today you guys really showed up big. The question really for you is, how do you prep for a team like forZe? It does not have a lot of VOD out there, and that was something that they were really not taking advantage of, but using to their advantage, that they were the underdog, that they were the Cinderella story.
I mean, they played it smart. As you said, there's very little information to gain, but we have the best coach and best analyst out there, Sua and Chaz, doing a great job, so thank you, guys. What we do a lot with less experienced players is take away their comfortability. So that's where the Thatcher ban came from on Clubhouse. They played it, and we already theory crafted what to do if it was gone. They obviously didn't, and I think it showed that our attacks were a lot more fluent than theirs were, even though that we both had less experience. So being the more experienced players, we just wing it.
Yeah, I was actually talking to, Milos Ramsveli about that exact thing with the Thatcher ban. You actually covered one of my questions, so look at that. Good job. We're already off to a great start here, people. Okay, and then obviously, now you're going to be moving on to the grand finals, taking on Empire. This is going to be a rematch of the 6th Invitational. Very exciting game. Now, in Milan, karjeka said that it was great that they won. But it didn't feel like a true victory because they didn't go against you guys. And then I asked karjeka here, who would you rather face, your Russian brethren or G2? And he said G2. So do you have any words for karjeka, who's going to get his rematch?
First of all, mad respect. First of all, you could choose forZe, but you chose us. And watching Milan, being the first event that we watched in a while from back home, it felt like something was missing. We're missing, right? And we wanted EG to win for the simple reason that Empire can win a tournament without at least going through us first. But I'm okay with giving them Milan and get the rematch here in a best-of-5 grand final, infinite overtime like last time. But I want to go more than 3-0 this time, right? Can we go 3-1, 3-2 maybe? Let's make it not so fast.
Yeah, I think everyone here in North Carolina will agree there. Pengu, thank you so much for your time, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, class act here, Pengu and G2 Esports. They're going to the grand finals tomorrow. Let's send it over to the studio to break down that match.